Well, as I indicated, today is a very special event, and I'd like to invite to the stage, one is here already, the CEO of the International Jazz Day Arizona Foundation, Mr. Doc Jones. Would you please come to the stage? Give him a hand. And representing the NASH, Jazz in Arizona, and Jazz Appreciation Month, Mr. Lewis Nash. And here representing Governor Doug Ducey, the state of Arizona, is the Director of the Office of Equal Opportunity, Mr. Barry Wong.
Thank you, Joel, for inviting me. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today for this special occasion and Pro Jam. What a great idea. Lewis Nash, you're fantastic. And Doc, thank you very much, gentlemen, for being here. It's an honor for me to be here today representing our Governor, Doug Ducey. And he asked me to present his proclamation kicking off the Jazz Appreciation Month, International Jazz Day. Before I read the proclamation, I think it's important to also say that Governor Ducey supports the arts because, through the Arizona Commission on the Arts, he knows it's important for not only for education of students in terms of creativity, the great culture we have in the state of Arizona, but also economic development. Companies don't come here unless we have great arts and great culture. So this is all a symbiotic relationship that we have throughout the state. So allow me, ladies and gentlemen, and Doc and Lewis, if I may read this proclamation. It states that, whereas jazz is a uniquely American art form, first developed in New Orleans, Louisiana, USA, in the early part of the 20th century, and represents American creativity, innovation, spirit, and determination. And whereas jazz is the universal language of freedom that bridges differences and brings people together regardless of race, age, gender, or socioeconomic class, a unifying force for positive engagement among diverse groups worldwide. Whereas Jazz Appreciation Month was created by the Smithsonian Museum to celebrate the heritage and history of jazz and encourages people of all ages to participate in jazz by attending live jazz performances, listening to jazz recordings, and studying jazz music. And whereas in Arizona, live jazz has flourished throughout the state and may be heard at music venues and platforms, from performance centers to coffee houses, and from recordings in libraries to internet streaming. And whereas jazz education programs in Arizona universities, community colleges, many high schools, and nonprofit institutions are developing the next generation of jazz musicians and audiences. And whereas jazz has produced some of America's leading creative artists, including many in Arizona, and ranks as one of America's greatest exports to the world. And whereas Jazz Appreciation Month in Arizona is commemorated at special events and festivals statewide and culminates in the celebration of International Jazz Day as founded by the United Nations Education, Scientific, and Culture Organization, also known as UNESCO, in highlighting jazz and its diplomatic role of uniting people worldwide. And whereas Arizona is pleased to join International Jazz Day Arizona Foundation and Next Student Academy of the Arts under the direction of William Doc Jones, this gentleman right there. Yes, round of applause. Also joining UNESCO Goodwill Ambassador Herbie Hancock, who you all have heard of as well. Yes, and also joining Jazz in Arizona, Inc., the Nash, named for legendary Arizona native jazz artist Lewis Nash. And other jazz organizations in recognizing the valuable role jazz has played in connecting, cultures, and communities in Arizona and worldwide. Now, therefore, I, Douglas A. Ducey, Governor of the state of Arizona, urge Arizonans to join in celebrating, enjoying, and perpetuating jazz music, and do hereby proclaim April 2018 as Jazz Appreciation Month, and April 30th, 2018 as International Jazz Day. Signed, Douglas A. Ducey, Governor of the state of Arizona. I'd like to present this. I have two originals. I'd like to present this both to Doc Jones and to Lewis Nash. Mr. Jones. Mr. Nash, thank you. I'm going to make you take a photo with these fine gentlemen. Thank you. Please, let's just hold this up. Thank you. Very good. Thank you.
Now we got to hold up this flash.
Yes. All right.
Jazz in Scottsdale next Saturday, 4 o'clock. Come join us.
And there's many jazz events throughout the state in April. Please participate and attend all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.